All right, today we're going to talk about something that millions of people deal with, but it's often kind of misunderstood. I'm talking about anemia. We're going to break down what it is, what causes it, and most importantly, how to fix it. And trust me, it's about way more than just feeling a little tired.
So let's start with a feeling I think we've all had. You know that feeling of being completely, totally drained? I mean, just bone tired, even when you swear you got a full 8 hours of sleep. Well, that kind of exhaustion, the kind that just sticks around, it might be more than just a rough week. It could actually be your body trying to tell you something.
So what is actually going on inside your body to make you feel that way? Well, it's kind of like your body is having its own little energy crisis. Think of it as let's call it a delivery disruption. That might sound a little weird right now, but stick with me. It's going to make perfect sense in a minute.
Okay, so here's the deal. At its heart, anemia is a condition where your blood just doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells, or it's low on this super important protein they carry called hemoglobin. And what that means is you get a big drop in oxygen getting delivered to all your body's tissues. That is the delivery disruption we were just talking about.
Let's zoom in on the real heroes of this story, your red blood cells. These little guys are like the tireless delivery drivers for your body's oxygen service. Seriously. They grab oxygen from your lungs and then they rush it out to every single cell in your body. And if that delivery service gets interrupted, well, your body just can't make energy the way it's supposed to.
So how do we know if this delivery service is running efficiently? Well, doctors measure it by looking at your hemoglobin levels. For men, the normal range is usually somewhere between 13 and 17 grams per deciliter. That's just a way of measuring the concentration. For women, it's a little bit lower. If your levels drop below those benchmarks, that's when you'll get a diagnosis of anemia.
Okay, so we get what's happening on a tiny cellular level. But what does that feel like? When that oxygen delivery service starts to fail, your body sends out some pretty clear warning signs. Let's connect the dots here.
The number one clue, the big one, is that deep, profound fatigue and weakness we started with. And it makes total sense, right? If your cells are basically being starved of the oxygen they need to make energy, you are absolutely going to feel wiped out. It's a direct consequence of that internal energy crisis.
Another classic sign is something called pallor, which is really just a fancy word for pale skin. See, hemoglobin is what gives your blood that rich red color. So when you have less of it circulating, your skin, your gums, even the inside of your lower eyelids can start to look pale instead of having that healthy pinkish color. It's like a visible clue of what's going on inside.
And this is where you can really see how one single problem can set off a whole chain reaction of issues. Feel short of breath? Well, that's your body just desperately trying to gasp for more oxygen. A fast heart rate? Tachycardia. That's your heart working in overdrive, trying to pump what little oxygen-rich blood you have around faster. Dizziness, cold hands and feet, even brittle nails. You can trace them all back to that one root problem: not enough oxygen getting delivered.
Okay. So we get the symptoms. We understand the how. But that brings us to the biggest question of all, right? Why is this delivery disruption happening in the first place? What's causing it?
Well, it turns out there are a few common culprits, and the one at the very top of the list, the most common cause by a long shot, is iron deficiency. Think about it. Iron is the absolute key building block for hemoglobin. No iron, no hemoglobin. Simple as that. But there are other causes too, like blood loss, not getting enough of other key vitamins like B12 and folate, or it can even be a side effect of some chronic diseases.
So let's say you're feeling all these things. How does a doctor figure out what's really going on? It's actually a pretty straightforward process, kind of like a medical investigation, to pinpoint the exact root cause.
It all kicks off with some simple blood tests. The first one is usually a complete blood count, or CBC. That gives a snapshot of your red blood cells and hemoglobin. From there, your doctor can dig deeper, check your specific iron levels, look for any vitamin deficiencies, and they can even look at your blood cells under a microscope. That's called a peripheral blood smear, just to see what they look like. The cool thing is, these tests don't just say, yep, it's anemia. They help figure out why.
All right, so the investigation is done, the cause is found, you have a diagnosis. What's next? What's the game plan?
And honestly, this is the best part of the story, because now we get to talk about the path to recovery. It's all about creating a smart action plan to get that oxygen delivery service back up and running at 100%.
Now, the treatment has to match the cause, right? So if it's an iron deficiency, the fix is usually iron supplements. Pro tip, taking them with vitamin C really helps your body absorb them. If it's a vitamin problem, well, you supplement that vitamin. And sometimes the real solution is to treat whatever underlying condition is causing the anemia to begin with.
You know, a huge piece of any recovery plan is something you have direct control over: nutrition. Fueling your body with iron-rich foods, we're talking red meat, beans, lentils, fortified cereals, gives it the raw materials it needs to build those healthy red blood cells. It's like you're restocking the factory so production can get back to normal.
So getting your levels back into the normal range, that's goal number 1. But goal number 2, which is just as important, is keeping them there. So let's quickly touch on some long-term strategies for managing your health and making sure this doesn't happen again. Successfully managing anemia is really a partnership between you and your doctor. Your part is to be proactive. That means sticking with that iron-rich diet, and this is a big one, being consistent with your medication. Rebuilding those iron stores takes time, you can't rush it. It also means listening to your body and conserving energy when you need to. Meanwhile, your doctor will be keeping an eye on your blood levels and fatigue to make sure the plan's working, and tweak it if they need to.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's actually pretty simple. Yeah, anemia is common, but it is also highly treatable. As soon as you nail down the specific cause, the solutions are usually straightforward and they work really, really well. And that kind of brings us to our final thought here. That feeling of being tired all the time, that is not something you just have to live with or accept as normal. It could be your body's way of raising a flag and asking for some help. So the question I'll leave you with is, isn't it time to really listen to what your fatigue might be trying to tell you?